Hello, everyone, and welcome to Wizzo Talk. We are up in this thing live. First, before we get started, I want to thank all of my subscribers and for subscribing to Wizzo Talk. I really appreciate the love and support. And just remember, if you're on Facebook, it's easy to go on and hit that like, share, and subscribe. It is 100% free. I appreciate that all the way around the board. We're gonna meet our guests, and then we're gonna get this thing going on and get it on chopping up in Wizzo Talk. OB, what you got for man?
Hey, welcome everybody. It's your All American RVB Baker Jr. As you see, I got my candidate swag for 2028 because what's going on right now, 2024, man, it don't make no sense. They need to take that out the door. We're gonna get in here. We're gonna talk some real talk. We're gonna have some honest opinions. But bottom line up front, man, we got to have a conversation about this. It's not something we can just let slide to the ether.
Right. Okay, come on, Unc, what you got?
Hey man, look, I'm still getting ready for the show, man. I come back, we live. But look, hey, this you do Uncle STWFTV. I'm in the building, boom. Definitely gonna make some noise and have some good conversation. What's that, fella?
What's up? What up? What it is, man?
All right, y'all just this one guy. Let me just hit him in right quick. He just hit me up, and he's trying to get in, but I have to send him the link again.
Okay, let's get
Hey
it.
man, see y'all some old school brothers, man. Y'all start on time, man. I was like, shit, 6 o'clock means 6 o'clock. It doesn't mean like 6:05. It's like, man.
Hey
Yeah,
man, let me tell you, man. This is how we say it in the army. Hey, if you're early, you on time. But if you're on time, you're late. That's the old school thing, man. But we still glad to have you here with us, man.
Hey, old school middle age swag. Hey,
yeah.
that's how gonna be some really good conversation because
Exactly,
when I was
man.
at Grambling, we had fraternity that finished that. You say be late, get your ass whipped. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So I heard that before.
Oh,
it
so you
ended
went
up
to
with me
you went to
getting in the
Grambling?
cut. Yes,
You went to Grambling?
sir. Yes,
Hey,
sir.
so you probably familiar with Thibodaux, Louisiana?
Yeah.
Yeah, shout out to
What
everybody from
city?
Thibodaux. I grew up in Thibodaux, man.
Oh,
It's
okay.
it's
Look, I
south.
thought
It's
you
south,
had
yeah.
you some. You had a nice bravado, man. Let me know you're from the boot. I'm from the boot
Hey,
too.
hey, look, I was born in Chicago, but I grew up and was raised in Louisiana. So I'm city born, but I'm country raised. So you gonna get the best
Hey,
of
hold
both.
on. How you talking about the South Country right there? You know what I'm saying? You got this
Hey,
camera like,
that's
look,
not.
I'm
Hey, look,
sitting there, and,
that's
some
not a negative
goes
thing,
to
man. Come on now.
what?
Look, listen to it. That's not a negative thing. How many people you know that city that people brag on versus how many people that's called country and they love it all the way down to the food we make.
I
Come on
mean,
now.
like that's the same analogy about the people in the penitentiary versus the people that went to college. The people that in the penitentiary, they did 10 years in the pen. You walk up, man, I did 10 years in the pen. Like, hey, how you doing? My name's Like, they greet you with that.
Hey,
But
let me say this right quick, girl. Unc, you already know when just to put it in reverse about the old time, cause when I came up there, I was early at the studio. You know.
yeah, I'm still setting up. He like, hey, how you doing? I'm looking. I was like, she talking about the truth, man. Like, hey, how you doing? Look.
Yeah, shoot, yeah. This, let me tell this guy, man, he got this link, and then we gonna go and get it going. Cause y'all from the same around the same little area. There he is. Okay, let me add it. Okay,
All right.
Mark, you right there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
We
We
can hear
can
All
you
hear
right.
you.
loud and clear.
All right.
All right.
Can't see
First
you
one.
though.
Well,
Okay. I don't have the camera on this
Oh, so
Okay.
laptop.
you come
Yeah.
late and you don't come bringing donuts or nothing? Oh man, who's this guy manager? Who let him in the
Hey
door?
man, I'm running from one job to the next today.
Hey, we
Busy
glad to
day.
have you here,
That's
man. But you're looking like Secret Squirrel right now.
it.
exactly. So to the viewers, whether they watch it now, maybe they watch them later, I want to just make sure ask them to tap in for on the 21st at 6 p.m. We will be going live with the men versus the women, uncut, unedited conversation. So if you're a viewer out there, a subscriber, y'all make sure y'all tap in with some questions, because that's going to be another fire conversation. Right now, first, Mark, you want to do your intro before I get this first topic out?
I've been on before. Name's Mark. What am I telling? Just background or what?
Just whatever you want to.
You
Okay.
Just
struck out
oh,
already, there, homeboy. Sorry.
Okay. All right. I'm Mark, just the average working Joe Blow, making a living like the rest of you gentlemen. Just looking forward to contribute to the show.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's good. We don't have to have the whole essay or whatever. So that's what's
Thank
up.
you.
So we're talking presidential immunity, shield or injustice. So Trump has already, in my opinion, then changed the way that debates are ran, elections ran, and everything with all his rhetoric. And I mean, he just basically got I can't even think of the other people named that just coming out, not answering questions as they've done before, just throwing shit out there, basically, to put it plain and clear. So I'm just asking you on this presidential immunity, shield or injustice, is he getting it set up for once if he gets in the office that he can do whatever the hell that he wants to do and not have to answer to anyone? So once again, presidential immunity, shield or injustice, we're gonna chop it up for that for a few minutes, and then we'll move back around. So first, I just like to come to Mark with a reply to that, and then after that, whoever else want to jump in on that. Mark, what's up?
Okay. First glance, and I took some time to try to read up on this today. And the first thing that came to my mind is he and his attorneys are going to advise him, whatever you do, cloak it under the ideal of official capacity. So that's just going to your title. It's going to be a shield to cover up anything, any illegality. All he has to do, hey, I'm operating in the capacity as the president, and that's going to basically be his get out of jail card, in my opinion.
Okay. I got you. Anybody got something else with something?
Man, I just want to say that it wasn't just Trump, but Trump and his cronies set this up, because when you look at that ruling, 5-3, and all 5 are people that was pro-Trump before that. That lets you know that they really don't care what he does, because they want to pretty much make him a king. Justice Sotomayor did a dissent and talked about how dangerous this is while putting this dude above the law. And for the first time in history, the president is being looked at as above the law, to the point where he can have people murdered if it's in official capacity.
He said that. He said once before he can stand right there and shoot someone right and not lose a single vote, So,
all right, shout out to Trump, man. And everybody that's fugitive convicted felons, y'all should be able to get jobs as convicted felons. He's able to run for office and president as a convicted felon. So, we should be able to get convicted felons job. Now, all right, to the question, I had to look it up and find out what that was, executive immunity. And it's so he's trying to get official acts committed as a president, wiped away, from my understanding, this quick read. So do I think he's going to get it? Hell yeah, he got it. Because, one thing, this act shows is just how much, the government is a system, is a corporate entity. It's ran just like that. It's like, hey, if I got leverage over here, if I did this for you, hey, you got to roll with me. And that's what we've seen, in this vote, just like, Brother OB said, about the Judge Sotomayor, they mentioned it. I just read, I'm like, oh, okay, wow, yeah, that really must be something. But, do I think that, it's happening? Do I think he's going to get it? Yes. Do I think, it's just like his taxes. He knew about it. He put this in play well before it's showing up right now. So I just think we need to be focused on what's next, like how all of this is moving, like how society is gravitating towards, this, and, things that's coming up. But yeah, do I think he's going to get, immunity? And one thing with Trump, it's in your, with him, it's pretty much in your face. It's, hey, it is what it is. He's not going to hide it. He's going to say, his rhetoric is going to happen. Now, yeah. Do I think it's, the shielding part? I really don't much know. If someone on the panel can, maybe, mention on that, but I don't know what the shielding part is. But, with the immunity, yeah, he's going to get it. People owe him. He knows how to, get favors and get things done. So I think he's going to get it.
Okay, that shield, that was just some shit I threw up there. I had to come up with my title, so I just like shit. Shield. I didn't want to just say presidential immunity, so I just did some kung fu, on that shit and threw that up there. So You know,
Hey,
we'll roll with that.
Yeah, but
Hey.
let's roll with that shield because what you said, Unc, is pretty much that shield that of defense that he got. He put people in place so he can play the game the way he wants to play. That's why this election is so important. The only way all this stuff is going to work for him is if he's reelected. That's the main thing. All the stuff that he's got in play can only work if he's reelected. If he does not get reelected, that's his ass. That's his ass. So he wants to do everything he can to get reelected, not because of the Christian conservative front, not because of White Lives Matter, not because of nothing. He don't give a damn about none of them. What he knows for certain is that everything that's against him right now, once he's elected, it can all go away. But if he does not get elected, and this is for all you Trumpers out there, that's his ass. They gonna get him.
Now, all right. I'm gonna play. I'm gonna play on the other side. So how do you think he's
devil's
not gonna
advocate.
get elected? Yeah. So I mean, how do you think he's not gonna get elected? He's not running just because. I mean, so how do you think he's not gonna get elected?
Are you saying you think he's pretty much gonna win, Unc?
All right, I'm gonna answer for that.
Can you see me? Yes.
I'm gonna answer for that. There's so many people that his group has pissed off that and I'm not saying it's impossible for him to win. There's a great chance he won't win. If you look at the numbers, and this is why they're going out of their way to try to split the vote. If you look at the numbers, Trump has not gotten any more new supporters. All his supporters have been ride or die since day one. As long as they vote, they're going to be able to win it again. If everybody, and I'm not just talking about the Democrats, because that's a whole new batch of ugliness, but if everybody votes against him, there's no way he can win. I think we done lost some people. Hey.
Oh, okay. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, I see two drop.
All right. I hear what you're saying, but I'm sure you saw the debate, right? You saw that debacle. If this is not somebody doing whatever they can to lose, I mean, Biden just don't, no matter how much of a lifeline you give him, he finding a way to lose.
Brother, I wish there was a way I can argue with you on that, but you're 100% right, man. And this dude, I was just telling Wizzo earlier, this dude's pretty much looking at this as a walk in the park. If I win, I win. If I lose, oh well. He is not doing himself any favors. And again, I am a fierce independent. I look at things the way that's beneficial for me. But when it comes to Biden, as bad as he is, and I'll just make it for certain, I don't think he should be running for re-election. But if I have a choice between his old slow self, Smoking Joe, and this convict liar, I'm going to pick Smoking Joe, because where Smoking Joe is going to get up there and make a fool of himself, this Trump guy is going to destroy the country. He's going to destroy the country.
Can I offer some thoughts on that if Trump wins?
Yes.
All right. Okay. All right. And I don't want to get too far off the topic, Wizzo.
That's okay. Go ahead. We good.
Okay. But all right. We know the system we live in. Okay. Separation of powers. You need okay, he wins, but he still has to get stuff through the House. He still has to get passed through the Senate. So my thought is okay. It's a possibility that Trump may win. You agree, disagree to that? However, perhaps we should put a little bit more of our focus on who are we voting for in the Senate? Who are we voting for in the House? So if we get control of one or both of the other Democrats, then that's going to slow down or negate anything that Trump could potentially want to do.
Hold on, I can't even put a little in there. Man, you need to show your face. Man, you is smart. Like, I like that. Damn. Okay, there we go.
Okay. Next time I do this, I will have my camera up. I was on the run, my other laptop that has it, so that's on me.
It's all good. My internet bleeping in and out on here, but That's what
By
I'm talking about. That's what I'm saying. That's the stuff we need to make applicable. That's why I'm so good at chess, or in strategy, because I find out what you trying to do, what what it is. I give you that. And that's what it is. Trump making a play for the House. Okay, is a strong possibility he's going to get it. Because at the end of the day, if we're entertaining this, that means Biden doesn't have a stronghold on his voters on the seat. So the thing is like, okay, let's.
No.
Oh man, come on.
He
back.
was just about to give us some knowledge. Come on back, Unc.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
My internet is jacking up too. He'll come back.
There he is.
There you go. Repeat
Give
what
it
you
back
just
to him,
said,
Unc.
brother. You froze.
Oh man, no, I was just saying, we just like what I was just reiterating what you were saying. We got to make it tough around him, because the strike, we know he's making a play for that. Give him that. Now, okay, let's control this. Let's unify. That's what I was alluding to in the earlier. Like, hey, we need to worry about what's next, because we know what he's going to try, what society puts a label on him as, a divider, a racial divider, any type of divider. So, okay, we know that he's going to come to office with division, with a lot of bravado, a lot of all of this. Okay, now let's control the flow. That's it. That's the best play.
I like what everybody's saying, and hopefully it falls into what I've been saying myself, which is whatever happens, we're going to have to roll with it. It's too short to really change anything, and we have to plan to work through it by making sure we got the right senators and representatives in there. But I'm looking even a little further. Like Unc said, looking at the board, figuring out what's next, the big picture. And for me, even though I'm joking with this background and my little pin on here, for me, it is dire certainty that we need to be focused on what we're going to bring to the table in 2028. The reason I say that is because for far too long, the Republicans and the Democrats have been playing in our faces. No matter how we want to look at it, both wings are part of the same raggedy ass bird that's not doing anything or enough for us. So if we want to talk about serious change, of course, we have to make sure we get over this hump that's coming, whether it's Biden or Trump. But that next presidential election, we need to make sure it's not only two parties going up there.
Bingo. Thank you.
We need to stand firm on a third party alternative. But here's the thing. We can't wait till 4th and goal to do it. Like my man Cornel West is still out there hustling and grinding. They don't even mention his name, and he's still in the race. Why? Because they were effectively able to push him out of the conversation early because he started late. As soon as this election is over, somebody needs to go up there. Now, I'm the kind of person that if I'm selected, I'm damn sure going to be talking. But I know I'm not up in that high echelon of people. But whoever is up there, they need to be looking at this podcast, Wizzo Talks, and they need to say, you know what, them brothers are right. Let's start doing something day one in 2024, not having a discussion in 2027, then say, oh, we need everybody to get behind. Send us $5. Stop asking for my damn money.
Yeah.
Do something now. Get a crowd wave going up there so when the win comes, it's undeniable.
Orby, can I interject a point on that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Start with your congressional representatives. The Congressional Black Caucus is the first place. Listen, y'all been going along for the ride because you've been satisfied with just taking whatever crumbs you can get off of the Democratic leadership. We need to tell them that we don't play the game, that if you're gonna represent us, we're not playing ball that way anymore. We going with an independent. Basically, you having the D on as a label don't mean shit to us no more. Okay,
Facts.
The independent approach. This is our agenda, and we're going to talk to the Republican, the Democratic side, the independent side, and whoever is going to support our agenda. That's the way we're going. The days of just being happy for a seat at the table is over, and we need to tell them that. Otherwise, bring your ass back home to whatever community. It's over. It's over.
Go ahead, Unc.
Now I was about to say, you come somebody talking like that, they won't get voted. They gonna look black. The whole black people gonna be gone. Yeah, we not that type of Negroes. Like we want food stamps. You know, we want free education. We want free health. We want free money. Like that's just how it is, and we don't want wars. So what is it that the Democratic Party, we just standing for? What is it that we stand for?
What, the Democratic Party or we as black people?
It
Because when we talk about we as a black people, the biggest problem that the Democrats have been able to monopolize on is the fact that we're not monolithic. There are some that all they want is the free welfare, all they want is the free handout, no wars. Then there's the other ones that's like, man, just give me a business loan so I can start a business. Dude, I don't want to be on welfare. I was on welfare my whole childhood life. How can I get a seat at the business table?
Thank you.
Fuck the party of Democrats and Republicans. I want to do business. I want to do this capitalism thing. And here's where I feel the change just has to happen after this election. We need to get on this social media platform and start connecting with like-minded people. And I'm not going to just limit it as like-minded black people. I'm going to say like-minded people because the way I'm looking at it, there's the haves and there's the have-nots. And no matter how much stuff they talk, if you got over $400,000 that you can get in touch with and do something with, you're the haves, in my opinion. If you're somebody that's trying to break even with $120,000 or less, you're the have-nots. And life is not easy for the have-nots to go out here and have a picket sign showing, because they got to do that double shift to get that money to take care of their kids, to take care of the house. And what I'm saying, especially if I really get into that, we need to do something that's off CNN, off MSNBC, off Fox, and actually have a connection and make them come to us. Too many times we expect them to say something that we're going to pay attention to, and they take and say, we're going to give you the information that we want you to pay attention to. Don't look at shit else but what we give you. And we're going to give it to you in 15-minute increments, and we're going to keep rotating until you decide that you want what we give you.
And so how do we force them to come to us versus what, as you said, what has historically happened?
Here's the thing, sir. They're greedy, man. Okay. They're opportunists. They're not going to come to us because they want to help us. They're going to come to us to see how they can fit into our narrative. And I would take hip hop, for instance. When hip hop first started, nobody that was the higher ups liked it. Nobody. Ronald Reagan hated it. All the corporations hated it. They thought it was some black people stuff, poor people stuff. They didn't want to touch it. But as soon as they started seeing it pop up in stuff like Flashdance, and kids around the world started doing it, they were like, "Oh shit, who is the Disco 3? Let's give them some money. Who's Run DMC? Let's give them some." All of a sudden, they got interested, and this was in the exactly like wildfire. Yeah. So the same thing we did with hip hop, we could do in politics. The only difference is we have to pay attention, because the cautionary tale is where hip hop used to come out of poverty and talk about things we needed changes. They got into hip hop, they got into the system, and now they only rewarded the things that they wanted to see, which was violence, drugs, low self-esteem, animalistic behavior.
Everything on TikTok.
There you go.
Pretty much. Okay.
So we can do it, but we have to be cognizant that hook is coming. As soon as they come, we got to be prepared for it.
The hook is already
do you see us just like in hip hop? What I don't convince me that same dynamic wouldn't happen again in politics.
I cannot, and I know because like the human nature, there's always going to be somebody that wants the easy way out or the quick change. The only hope that I have, and I gotta say hope, the only hope that I have is because of social media and the ability to fact check stuff on the fly, that more people that have a piece of brain is going to look at this and say, hey, I'm not going to flow with that versus the ones that's like, I'm going to go for whatever makes it easy for me, forget everybody else.
Well, go ahead.
Now I'm gonna say this. Now, we're taught to think that. Like always when I was at college, I used to be like, "Damn, it's crazy." So see how well dressed you are, brother. Like you in the suit, right? If we see a white guy in the suit, guess who we gonna think is more important? The white guy. We're trained to just think like we'll think, okay, hey, a well-dressed black guy is either preacher's son or going to court or going to church. We see a well-dressed white guy, we just automatically think he the president. Why is that? We got to address issues at the fundamental phase. If you don't understand what H2O is, you ain't gonna understand what ICE is. And that's where we get lost in the shuffle because we got these ideas, but we don't know how to execute. Just like, for instance, right now, someone's, I'm like, hey, I'm going to vote for this person. I'm going to vote for this grant. They don't even know how to make sure it comes down to their zip code. They don't even know that. Oh, they're like, oh, well, I went for this and this. They don't know, hey, okay, it goes to this district this way, to this council member. They don't even know that. Okay, they think, okay, hey, I go vote is done. Well, what is the town hall? What is the local issues? What are some of the tax increases? That's what we fall short at. So yes, because to Mark's point, yes, it's going to happen because one system is the next system. We just, we taught, what is it, the Lynch syndrome? That's one of the things that's been embedded in us, you know what I'm saying, from the beginning. And when we get something, what we think, what we need, a white daddy. So I go, you know what I'm saying? I grew up in the 90s, it was like, hey, if you want to feel stamp, what you got to do, have a white guy part of your business or something. You know what I'm saying? It's validation. That's just how it is, and that's how they come to the table expecting. So do we get, are we going to change and be like, hey, you know what? We want more than just to see that at the table. Hell no, because I'm a former teacher and I know that I only had 1 or 2 kids that can read. And so, yeah, okay, we can fact check at the same thing, but how quickly can you comprehend? See, I knew nothing about what we were talking about, but I quickly read it, comprehended, and we're talking at a high level about it. So that's someone that can read. I always just say you got to see it, read it, think it, speak it. Exactly. That's a part of thinking. It's a flow. It's not, oh, well, hey, you know what? This wall is white. Oh, shit. Captain Brainiac. Dun, 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 dun. You know what I'm saying? Like, get this guy a freaking star by his name. He can tell me that the wall is white. No shit. But that's where we fall short. And do I think that cycle will ever break? No. And what makes it even worse is social media, because why we got those people that can't read thinking, hey, they're validated. No, you can't read. If you Google something, you're reading the first 2 topics, and both of them are sponsored ads. So the real stuff is at the end of the page. So, and that's where we're getting hindered at, because when I watch the news, which is Fox, I'm sitting hearing how these kids, these parents are putting, these analog phones back in their kids' pocket. We still buying them the newest iPhone in our generation because why? We're the number one consumers. Why? Because we're the number one puppets. Yes, and we got to go to this person because, for instance, right now, everyone wears designer, right? Tell me one black designer. Shit. Ain't none. All these designers out there in Europe.
Well,
that's why they're so tight.
Can I say something? Because brother, you're saying all the right stuff. But as far as like a designer, there's a couple out there, they don't get the flash like a Dapper Dan. And even Dapper Dan was taken down because he was such a damn good designer. But I want to say something on the point of how do we change this? Because you're right. Everything has been put to a point that it's too easy not to change. But sometimes doing the hard thing is the right thing. And I know you've heard this term before because you're from Louisiana. So somebody had to come across your path and said something about each one teach one.
Yep.
I was a teacher.
Everybody is not smart, but those that are smart enough to find the ones that know something, like that 1 or 2 students that you talk to and you fill them with that information. Now I'm saying that because I went to school. I'm a little older. I'm a 70s baby, grew up in the 80s. And when I moved to Louisiana, before the invent of this internet and all this other crazy stuff, there were people that were going to school just to make friends with families to get a job because that kid's daddy or that kid's family has always been in position. And that's how they were taught to get in position. I came from Chicago. I know nothing of this. I just know this. I'm black. and if you mess with me, I'm gonna smack you back. Not
That's a
everybody
very
was cool with
Chicago
that.
answer. That's a very
Hey.
Chicago answer. You know,
Everybody wasn't cool with it, but I will tell you this: some of those teachers, and some of them were white and principals, they looked at me a lot different. When I did stuff, they would tell me why I should do it different. Now, luckily for me, and you mentioned colleges down there, Southern and Grambling has turned out some of the best teachers ever that don't get their props. Why? Because when they're in the school, they're not looking at just teaching the curriculum. I've had teachers that grew up during that time that would tell me something as simple as stop walking like that. Now, you would think walking means nothing, right?
Mhm.
But they gave me the why behind the what. They wasn't just trying to boss me up because they were like, you know, you could be the first black president. You know, you could be a Fortune 500 CEO. And it starts with how you walk, how you talk, how you always, because I can get as gutter as anybody because it's fun. But I also know from those instructors that there's something else in me that I can give. And some of our kids out there, they don't believe they got nothing to offer. And we can't save all of them. But there's a lot of them out there that's on the fence, and all they need is that mentor to say, you know what, I bet you can do better. I'm not going to force feed you, but I bet you can do better. And if you believe in yourself like I do, come holler at me. Let me put some stuff in your head. What we're talking about doing is not going to happen overnight.
Mhm.
But I will tell you this. What we're talking about doing has happened over and over again. This is why we have these cities that they hide from history that were burnt down. They weren't burnt down because they were black and they didn't like them. It was burnt down because their education went from generation to generation and they couldn't stand that. And we could do that again, but we can't be scared to put in that hard work. But the hard work has to start now. It can't start at the last minute.
Well, deep. All righty, that's deep on that. Let me just touch on one thing that you was talking about, and you was saying how we don't get the props. People of color, I was going to say, or black people. But how can you when you talked about loans a few back when I was kicking in reverse a little bit, you mentioned loans. Well, Navy Federal Credit Union wanted all those soldiers and military guys up there not
Them
giving
dirty
loans
bastards.
to who? To the blacks, to
Yep.
people of color rather. And so how can they get how can we get any props? The only thing they seem like they want to report about, blacks, people of color is something negative. I mean, I don't watch much sports, but they're talking. I do on SWTV. I be watching that podcast right there. And, they was talking about what's her name, Caitlin Clark or whatever,
Mhm.
and hyping her and doing this and doing that. So it's like she's getting all this props. She's getting all this. She's the great white hope. Her head to me kind of looked like Peyton Manning's head because they both kind of long. But I asked one of the brothers were they related or something. And then you hear about other. I mean, they even want her to go to the Olympics. She just got in there. She's losing the handle a lot. They propping her up. But there's more. It was a lot of other women of color that went up in there too that didn't get the prop. So I'm just talking about on props. So we don't get the fair shake on the props is what I was just touching back on.
And let me
No,
say, piggyback
go ahead,
off
brother.
a quick thing. Just saying about, I was like, hey, the divisiveness. That's what I'm saying. We need to worry about what's next. You see how quickly we're getting divided. Just like with this, what's it, Kendrick Lamar song? They're not like us. All this stuff that's coming out of the video, because you want to know what get black people routed up with vote divisiveness. That gets people of color routed. Not, hey, let's go read a book. Hey, let's go find out this. No, you start putting out divisiveness. Oh, whoa. They come out. And it's once again is what? It's out during election time. So it's all a strategy. That's what I'm saying. Just watch how the plays is. Like I say, we know what Trump represents, divisiveness. So now it's starting. How are we going to stop it? And that's what I'm saying. You mentioned something about education. That's where it starts. You can't chop a full-grown tree down. You know what I'm saying? You got to catch it when it's small. So hey, yeah, it starts at education, because if you know better, you do better. And if you're in a better environment, because I taught a kid who was Captain Brainiac, but his dad was a big drug dealer. So he come tell me, hey man, what you trying to teach my son? How to get out, how to be free, how to understand, like, hey, there's life with education. You don't got to be a rapper or an athlete to make something of yourself. You're like, look, man, that ain't for my kids. I was like, shit, okay.
That's what he told you.
Yes, these are real conversations. This is what I'm saying.
No.
This was after I had him in detention. He was like, he trying to tell me he come to get his son out my. I said, no, you ain't. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, you're not. You know, and no, he gonna respect order, law. You know what I'm saying? Rule. Like, no, you can't just come like, oh, okay, talk crazy to the police. That's how you gonna get your ass knocked out. Talking about Black Lives Matter. They want more.
Knocked out, shot. Choked out and shot.
That's where it starts. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm saying. Like, I tried to put a kid out. I never met this person parent until I'm telling them I'm putting their kid out. Well, hello, I was there since day one. Come to the parent teacher conference.
Facts.
You know,
Facts.
this is where it starts. You know, not with when they fully grown. Because man, listen. One thing I've learned, each one teach one. If they smart enough, they'll read it, and I'm gonna put it in a book. Because listen,
can I throw out a thought to the group? Okay, and this one of my favorite heroes, Harriet Tubman. They told her you freed over 200, and one of her responses was, I could have freed 200 more if they knew they were enslaved. My question to the group is, the education, all the things we're talking about, do you focus on that 200 that wants to be free? What do we do with the other 200 that's not interested, don't care, or that's going to actively get in your way? Like, for example, like you just said, the father. I mean, what do we do with them?
Right.
I got something to say on that, but first I want to give a shout out to Unc. You probably know this, but you are the frontline defense of stopping the ignorance. You were that example, and you still are that example. So much thanks to you. We need more teachers. Hell, I should probably try to be a teacher so I could be a leader like you.
No, I'm a programmer. Sorry,
okay.
I just took that job because I couldn't get a job in IT in New Orleans. So I had to become an educator. But that's why I'm an educator. I still do STEM robotics. I still teach. But I taught 6th and 7th grade before the storm in New Orleans. But I work in IT for DOD. But
I still thank you for being a teacher, because again, somebody saw you, and I'm pretty sure you don't know everybody that you influenced for just showing up and being a strong Black man. That's number one. Number two, when we talk about the people that's going to try to learn versus people that's going to keep acting a fool, I like that you brought up Harriet Tubman, brother Carter. But you also know that Harriet Tubman had a little speech too, that if you were going to be a problem, you was going to be a dead one.
Yep, I know about that.
And she meant what she said. And I don't say that to say we got to go out and kill our brothers and sisters, but I say that to let them know that when we start moving forward, we're not going to try to backslide. And if you're going to be part of the speed bump toward the north, then you're going to get what's coming to you. Now, those people that don't want to move forward, I would say all of them are not the same, because some of them, they just want to be jackasses. Others, they're so stuck on stupid, they don't know what right looks like until you teach them. And once they see that, sometimes they'll backslide away from it. I like what you talked about, Unc, with the young man and his father being a street hustler or a gangster. I'm going to tell you firsthand experience, my experience with the thugs in Chicago. I wanted to be a gangbanger so bad because people wouldn't fuck with you when you're poor. But some of those gangbangers that knew my mom and my uncle, who was a high-level gangbanger till he was assassinated, they would tell me, get your ass out the street. Go get you a book, and the next time I see you out here trying to hustle, I'm going to whoop your ass, because they knew who my mom was. They knew who the family was. And when I talk about this building thing, we can't say that we're going to try to save everybody, because that's impossible. But what we can do is everybody that has a like mind, let's go ahead and encourage them and build them up. Now, I want to drop a little knowledge that y'all probably know, and maybe you don't know, but it's about watermelon. Every time you hear watermelon, what's the first thing that comes to mind?
So
What?
So
it's been something that's been associated with Black people historically.
Yeah, it's a racist trope. And salt goes good on watermelon. But a lot of people don't realize after the enslavement of blacks, the only crop that they can get to make money off of, because they wouldn't give them a job, was watermelon. And they got so good off of it that a lot of families built generational wealth off of watermelon.
Okay.
The only reason they turned into a racist trope was because they didn't want black people to feel good about what they were doing. And the reason I bring that up is we're going to have to reinvent this watermelon focus and make people understand what they're saying has nothing to do with what we're doing over here.
I got you on that. All right. Let me just kick it in reverse just for a second. When you were talking about when you were out doing wrong with the gang and they tell you, hey, get your ass out the street, that's when they talk about that village raising the kid from kind of back in the day. And then get your ass out that street, or get out that street, or get out that gang, or do whatever. But now, guess what? You go say that to the wrong parent, she gonna tell you a whole bunch of shit to leave her kid alone. You're gonna be all kind of this, you're gonna be all kind of that. I mean, what do you do with somebody like that? She or he may even be strapped. So it's no longer, I don't think of, I mean, I grew up like that. I rode a train one time, me and my brother, we hopped on a train, we rode that motherfucker all the way to the boys club, which was probably about like 6 miles, and it got to go a little fast. I jumped off because I was scared. But one guy saw me on that train, my neighbor, and he said, boy, you don't get your butt over there, I'm gonna tell you from here to there, off of there, you know, jump my ass off of that train, you know, because he's been in, told my mom, I've been in what, but that doesn't really happen anymore, I don't think. So, you know, those kids are just kind of out there. I don't know. I'll just touch a base just on that.
Mamas don't follow them on Instagram or Facebook, and they think, oh, that shit cool. That's my baby. That's what I'm saying. They entertain. That's what social media is doing to us, making, you know, the parents won't be their partners. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, you can't. I'm gonna tell you. Look, my son on Instagram. His name on Instagram is porn star. I tell him about that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm like, bro, what, you know, You know what I'm saying? But he been with his mom, you know, but just painting a picture. I try to step in. He could do what he won't do. The hell you mean?
Right there.
You know what I'm saying?
Right there.
So that's what I'm talking about. So, and that's where, you know, once again, how, you know, things are stifled. You know what I'm saying? Like, because she won't be his partner and all like this. And now, you know, and I'm just bringing up, you know, only thing I can do is bring up real life situation. I can't speak on something else that I don't know about. You know what I'm saying? But I'm putting it out there to just say, like, hey, that's just one of the things that us people of color, black men, you know, we don't get our props for. You know, that's a hindrance. You know, like, that's why things really won't change, because most good for nothing men came from women who allowed it.
I'm gonna tell you like this, man, because you hit on something that I see every day, and even in my household, we kind of go around. And Bernie Mac said it best: "Stop being punk ass parents."
Thank you.
You're not a friend to the kids.
Thank you.
You're a mentor, you're a motivator, but at no time should they feel that they're equal. Once they think they're equal, you can forget it. And I think one of the problems that I see today is some of these parents, just like you said, I had the same situation on, where the parent wants to be cool and you're the bad guy if you come up and do something ugly. Well, newsflash, I've been practicing all my life to be the bad guy. So when my daughter gets on, you know, social media and she doing something and I'm following, guess who pops up? Oh, you embarrass me. You damn right. That's my job. Until you turn 18, I'm going to embarrass you. I'm going to harass you. And I'm going to let your friends know I'm going to embarrass them too. Because I ain't no
Orby, I can
parent.
tell you, even after she gets 18, continue to embarrass her, please. I'm talking from experience.
I can't change, man. You got it, brother. I can't change. I mess around, show up at a little sorority thing with some bell bottoms and a wig on, talking about who partying. I saw y'all on social media. You want to party?
That's right. Right.
Paul, just address what you're saying. We grew up same neighborhood, east side of Temple. I think our parents, they were more adults in the real sense of what adults and parents supposed to be than now. I mean, you know, I hadn't been on the east side much, but you tell me, east side now, 2024 versus east side 1970s and the 80s when we were there.
And it is, you already know it's totally different. Totally
Okay.
different.
Okay.
I seen a paradigm shift in like how parenting was once again when I was teaching
Mhm.
back in like 2004, one at a time. But the kid wanted to eat on the floor. So you think the mama corrected him like, no, you eat at the table, you eat up. No, she put the food on the floor so the kid can eat the food on the floor. So I'm not surprised with how these parents and how, kids have turned out right now, because I seen it, years ago, and it's just gonna get worse because once again, we got social media and this thing in our hand that gives us instant gratification because, kid recently, he went off to the Marines. He told me college is a scam. That's how they feel now. Like kids nowadays feel, and I'm like, so you think education is a scam? No, not education, just college. I'm like, I don't get it. You know what I'm saying? I understand his point, but I don't get it because, higher education is higher education. I told him like, but look, everything is a scam. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how it is. If you don't approach it and understand where it is, you enter in a system that's not set up for you to win. Like, if I was set up to win, I would be winning. I wouldn't have to go out to work, so, but long story short, yeah, it's a lot going on. It's a really big shift in parenting. And I think all of this stuff starts from education. It starts from home. It starts from the environment. And just like I mentioned before, it starts in a zip code, because if you're not in the right zip code, you won't get that funded. You won't, you might get this, you won't get these good schools, because my biggest eye opener when I was 23 teaching, go really quickly, but I taught at a failing school, and we had a distinguished educator. She was like a general manager of restaurant. So she was in the school in the hood, and she had a white school. So this, we had to teach them, our kids LEAP is our standardized test. But long story short, we had to teach our kids, mathematics, arithmetic, blah, 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 what we thought was on a test. So these white kids, these white teachers, they had the actual test. So of course, they're gonna have better test scores because, if I'm teaching my kids 4 + 4 is 8, but they reading the test, and the test for math, the first thing it is, hey, the bus leaves the train station at 3 o'clock, traveling 70 miles an hour. What time will they get? My kids can't read, and then they don't understand this. But in this white school, they taught what's exactly on these standardized tests. So of course they gonna have higher scores, higher funding, higher alumni, higher everything. So the system is just set up. That's a part of this whole system that, I think that, we as people of color, we don't know how to approach, because it's a lot of them against us. If you want to go like that, it's like, hey, you want to open up a business, how many people in your phone, at back in the day that you can call, be like, hey, I'm trying to open up a business, they can help you open up a business. You had to be, in the right zip code to get that type of access, so, we got to do something, but it starts with what, people that won't do it. And then how, once the people that won't do it, how we gonna do it? But I don't know. But yeah, just circling back round to, what it is do I think, Trump's gonna get presidential immunity? Yes, he's gonna get it. He got it. I just think that the world, society as we know is gonna change, not because of, what he's done in the past. You gotta look at this past presidential debate with him and Biden. Yeah. That guy was cool as a cucumber. Yeah. He wasn't Brian Bravado. So that showed me he got a really good poker face. Biden was over there trying to clap back. Right. So, what it is we really don't see, what's really on the table. And to me, that's what scares me, because, we talking here. I haven't voted. I don't vote. And I, my mind says like, hey, you know what? I keep, whereas that I'm immune to whoever's in office. Hey, I'm good. But we were taught to vote. And I was taught there was never, and I grew up where there would never be a black president. Right. So.
Well, so it was two of them, because it was Obama and Bill, wasn't it?
Yes, sir.
One that was born black and one that identified as black.
Right. So I'm glad you went on and brought that back around, but I was really enjoying all of the conversation, to get us back on the real topic or whatever. But because the good stories and all that. So I don't never mind getting off of that main topic or whatever, venturing around, because you guys shared some real valuable, stuff on there. But I will come back to this since you didn't brought us back to this presidential immunity. Uh, I didn't get to watch that whole debate. I watched the last 15 minutes of it because I was out swing dancing, because that's what I like to do. But at that last few minutes that I watched, 15 minutes that I watched, Biden didn't win. Trump didn't win because Trump didn't answer not a single damn question. He does what he always does. He deflect this and deflect that, talks about you. I was so glad that they had his microphone muted. I was happy as that, But I've said all along, in my opinion, that Biden is too old. I don't think he should have ran for re-election again. I don't even know why he did or whatever. I thought the pool should have been up there with Trump would have been their guy, but there'd been a lot more Democrats up there for that. But just to ask you guys this right here, are the Democrats handing the election to Trump by trying to get Biden out in these last 4 months? There's no time to really get anyone else off in there. So we already saw Biden's interview on CSNBC or whatever it was on there. But I'm just asking you, the Democrats you need to get out. Well, you knew Joe was old before the debate. You knew he was falling asleep. I think Trump had tucked away the visitors log to sign in to see who was signing in. And according to the news, they didn't had I forgot that quick. Some therapist or something then checked in 8 times to supposedly look at Biden. But my question to you guys, are the Democrats handing the election to Trump with 4 months left for the election? What are y'all thoughts?
Okay, let me clarify. So you're saying if they nominate somebody else, would it have the effect of basically giving Trump, because it's too late in the game to make a change? Is that
Correct.
what you? Okay, Paul, I'm gonna say this. Okay, if they choose one and say we gonna get behind, then they would need to work overdrive these next 4 months, and it could happen. Now, if you gonna choose 50 million, everybody and their mom trying to run, then that would be a problem.
That part right there.
Yeah.
Well, me and Ari talked about it before we got going, and we know they hadn't mentioned Kamala Harris' name, I think, but maybe the news post talking about Trump. But they mentioned, what was his name, Gavin out there in California?
Gavin Newsom.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But 4 months left. Mark, you think it's possible for the voters, or they just so much against Trump? Because Arvie said earlier that Trump hadn't gained any more. He still have his same voters.
Well, okay. I'll respond to that. To me, at this point, it's about not so much what Trump doing. You're right. Those people that gonna support Trump, they supported him before it is. Him having 34 convictions, that don't matter to them. It still don't matter. So maybe he hadn't gained any ground. But my thing is, if we get the right person, then you can get enough people that would incline to vote Democrat. They would go ahead and vote. Right now, from my lane, I see a lot of people just not vote. They're not gonna vote for Trump. I'll just sit out this election, and that's gonna play into Trump's hand if too many folks sent home. But
that's how he won last time.
Yeah, But if you give people a viable option, then okay, whether it's Gavin Newsom, whether it's Orby Baker, Paul,
2028.
You give them somebody viable, then they'll go ahead and vote. But so that's to me, that's the biggest concern, is if you leave Biden there, well, you know what? I just opt out of this election. That's where I think a big percentage of people are right now. Okay. But now that needs to happen as we speak. Now you wait. Right now. Now if you keep waiting and waiting, then it's gonna be too late. So you need to make a move. If you're gonna tell them not Biden, hey man, we going in a different direction, and we got this person that we gonna put the money and the resources behind, and that's what we gonna do for the next 4 months.
All right. What's up?
All right. So what's the Democratic symbol? So jackass is a donkey.
The donkey.
Hey man, because this is all I'm seeing right now. They really representing this goddamn symbol because what it doesn't matter who they elect, it's still Trump's government. That's what we're seeing because we gotta realize Biden only been in office how many years?
4 years
Four?
now.
4.
Yeah, 3.5 years.
So you really don't put your stamp on a presidency until your second term. So he's still trying to undo what Trump did and find out where all the skeletons were in Trump. That's why he get on there talking about Trump's border. Yeah, that's still Trump because you haven't figured out how to do that. Just like this issue with Ukraine and Russia. Trump said, hey, I get on there and stop that in a couple of days because
Never mention the Congo. I just want to throw that out there. Just
nice. Yeah.
saying.
But the thing is it's like, hey, and we're seeing like it was mentioned on this panel, like no one cares about a conviction. No one cares. Because why? This is still his government. And that's once again, we're not paying attention to that. So it doesn't matter who they select for the Democratic Party, it's wasted. We need to, what was mentioned about earlier, is figure out, hey, how you can run everything else. Because once again, this is Trump's government.
Yeah.
So Biden, sorry, finish.
No, I was going to say, I agree with you, Uncle. We need to start working on what we can do at a lower level than the presidency. But number one, we're going to find out next week because I just pulled up the National Democratic Convention takes place next week. And this is where they officially pick who's going to be running for the Democrats. And if they don't figure out who they're going to pick then, and everybody just goes all out, it's a lost cause. Trump got in the rap because the vote's going to be broken. But what we're seeing right now, if you think about it, is the same thing that happened with Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton split the votes when Bernie Sanders should have been a Democratic nominee, but she used her workings so she could be the nominee. Mm-hmm. And all those people that was behind Bernie said, you know what? I'd rather burn in hell than vote for
Hillary.
I'm not going to vote. And then some of them said out of spite, I'm just going to vote for Trump because I'm so mad at you taking the vote. The problem with the Democratic jackass party is that they've always been a team of me. It's never been one group. And as much as I don't like the Republican Party either, one thing for certain, when they put their person up, you either going to ride along or shut up. That's just how they roll. Mm-hmm. So next week is going to be crucial. Do I think they should put Kamala Harris on the ticket? Yes. Do I think Biden should step down? Yes. And it's not because he's old. It's because of how he's acting. This dude is acting like he doesn't have it to be a president. He has it to be a granddad and tell war stories, but he doesn't have what it takes, even to the point where his wife has to help him step down. And I'm looking at him in his last interview that he did. He's arrogant, bro. He said he's trying to do it for the nation, but when they asked him, yeah, you know it, huh? You know it. This dude is arrogant. When they asked him how would he feel if Trump won the election, his best answer was, well, I'll be okay because I gave it my best shot. Dude, we're literally talking about the demise of United States as we know it. And you're going to say, you're going to get up saying you have your best shot? Well, you can say that when you're a elitist and whatever Trump does is not going to affect you and your family. But what about the rest of the people that don't have that?
He doesn't care about that. That's why he's showcasing Kamala Harris around. Like, you didn't see this much of whatever Kamala Harris when they were in office. No, it's on the election trail. He knows how to use black folks. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's one of the reasons.
That's why she was the vice.
Yeah,
that's why she was the vice, because he thought he'd be able to pull it with saying, well, you know, me and Obama, we was cool, so vote for me. Well, we're not gonna vote for me. Well, now I got a black woman as the vice. Vote for me. And as soon as he got it, we barely heard from her. And even now,
why we vote? Because he got the black people vote because of Obama. Because really, if we go back to the law, just like with all the convictions that Kamala Harris did to black people while she was a judge, just like all the,
DA.
Yes, yeah, DA, yeah. But just like when she was with Biden, all the laws and stuff that bills that he backed that was against people of color, so we clearly didn't vote for them because of their policies. We voted for Biden because of Obama.
Mhm.
So to me, that's the reason why, because, in our culture, it's like, hey, y'all but might not mess with me on the street, but Wizard like, hey, this such and such. Oh, we good now. That's just our culture. We not gonna do what? Hey, read. You know what I'm saying? Just like, that's why I dress like this, because hey, I want people to, hey, read and profile. What you think I'm gonna say? I'm gonna look like.
Right.
And so hey, now I can hit you with some of these words, we can have a conversation versus, you're looking at a picture like, oh, okay, because that's how we move. But yeah, I don't think we'll ever once again get past that, because Instagram was a demise to people of color, because we went from reading letters and words to reading pictures, which we, once again, I said as a former teacher, we rarely read. People are not reading on their grade level.
No.
So
Got to get them books out, man.
Yeah.
Gotta
And, just to go back to when you were saying Kamala Harris and was she a DA or prosecutor?
Yeah, she was DA.
About all of the black people. Yeah, all of the black people she put away. Me and a guy at work was talking about that a little bit earlier. Now, and I don't know how it all works, but as the DA, they bringing her the cases and she's prosecuting their ass or whatever, and sending them to the judge and he's convicted them or whatever. I don't think she's going out on the street saying, hey, your black butt, you did this, did that. I don't know, but I'm gonna make a point, I think. And so then you have Biden, and y'all probably know in Arby, it was some bill he signed back in the day related to blacks. Mark, you might even know. And I
don't know.
Okay. That was the crime bill. That's where you made it
super predator.
Okay, yeah, you can go to jail for having now I'm paraphrasing, so don't.
Okay, that's okay. But hold up, Mark. Put a pin in there. Put a pin in there for a second. But you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
We got to get you up to date. But let me finish my point, y'all. Cause I forget this shit.
Okay.
So Mark, we'll come back to you.
No
but
problem.
Then you have Trump that allegedly didn't care for blacks to live in his place. The Central Park 5.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted them to have. I forgot it because I wouldn't expect this to come up, the death penalty or whatever.
He wanted them to be hung.
Right. And guess what? They turned out to be innocent.
Mm-hmm.
So all of them doing something against black people. But I had another point, but I forgot that, mother. Mark, what were you going to say?
No, I was just going to say, I mean, this was, you got to go back to the 90s when crack and all that was an epidemic. So he was responding to, what are we going to do to get these crack dealers off the street so you can have, and I'm paraphrasing it. So basically you could get a life sentence for having like an ounce of cocaine versus somebody only having a possession of marijuana,
crack versus cocaine.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. White kids doing cocaine, slap on the wrist. You got a little bit of weed, 10, 20 years. Again, this is the 80s, 90s, when drugs were epidemics.
When they had the war against drugs.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that's where he was coming from. And I'm not saying this to excuse Biden, but if y'all go back to the 80s and 90s when crack was big, so what can we do to get this under control? And we got caught up in this, and then back as far as the DA, you're right, Paul. The DA doesn't go out and look for people. Police arrests. They present the evidence to the DA. The DA looks at the case and decides we got enough evidence to prosecute this individual for a different crime. That's what yes.
And let me just jump in here and talk about that, because the reason I have I don't hate the woman. She's very smart, but the thing that really upset me about our vice president when she was the DA is not that she put black people in jail, because I'm from the south side of Chicago and I've been in a couple of bad neighborhoods where some black people need to go to jail. These motherfuckers are dangerous. But when you have somebody that's a DA that has evidence to exonerate a black man, but instead of you giving that evidence, you hold tight on it so you can have a flawless record, I got a fucking problem with that.
Yes.
And that's the thing that I hold on to.
Okay. And Orville, to add to that, because you know somebody worked at the public defender's office. The DA, you can get a case. Let's say like you do a crime, you rob. I can, based on the evidence, I can make the decision to charge you with a first degree versus a misdemeanor, and that matters because it can affect your future. Orville, you're a young kid. This your first time. I mean, could I throw the book at you? Or could I look at, okay, Orville, this your first time, man. I'm going to charge you. I'm going to suspend the sentence. That you fuck up again, I'm going to call you. That's the power. The DA, if you a conscious DA, that's you have that authority to do that if you got that conscience and outlook. And if I were ever the DA, that's the approach I would take. Case by case, look at the individual. Now, if you that motherfucker, this your fifth, sixth time, hey, you just a predator. But if you 19, this your first time, let's find a way. Maybe we can work with you. You know, the kid that stole from Walmart, does he necessarily need the book thrown from him if this is his first time? No.
Do you know who her husband is?
What's that?
Y'all know her husband is? Her husband.
Yeah.
Kamala Harris. Am I saying it right?
Yeah.
Kamala Harris.
Some
I
white guy.
don't know his name. I just know his nationality. He's white.
He's a white guy. Yeah. My take on Kamala Harris.
And you know where racism really resides at, right?
She's an
racism
opportunist.
resides in the judicial system. If you want to know one place it resides in the judicial system. So you think with a white husband, you think that she was in the best interest of people you just described? No, she wasn't in there, because her having a white husband shows who she thinks who the white daddy is. Just like when you go to a doctor, they be like, hey, you know what? If you want to get your main physician, get someone that looks like you. A white guy ain't going to sweat the same way we sweat. So how she knows, so that shows to me she's out of touch with what's really going on.
Well, I would give a little pushback on that because I don't think it's because I don't think it's because of her white husband as much as her status in that said community. Because there's a lot of people out there that's mixed race that they're interracially married, but they're looking out for it. So I don't think it's that. I think it's.
I can't be giving you something just because I'm a Katrina refugee, right? So I am known for, guess what? Hey, how you doing? Oh, you from New Orleans? When you came here? It's like clockwork. Just like I'm pretty sure the clock will. Oh, you went, ask me the same thing. So people will give you stuff out of sympathy, or do they give it to you just out of character? So that's what I'm saying. So, okay, yeah, she might have did this, but what is she doing it? Because I taught with some kids with some teachers from Teach for America. They're white teachers, totally out of touch with what was going on in New Orleans. They from Philadelphia. They doing this because why? This is like part of their mission trip or something, shit that they got to do. So they don't know what they're not connecting with these kids. So that's all I'm saying. So she's out of touch with that. So I'm listening with you, but we talk about this lady who did what you did, who said what you, did what you said earlier. So yeah, I'm not a fan of her.
And she didn't deny her answer. I have to paraphrase because I don't remember it correctly. Was you wouldn't know it unless you was in my shoes? Which I say, if I was in your shoes, I would have did what the law required and passed over that information. All I'm saying on your statement is I don't totally disagree with you. I just don't think it's because she's married to a white man. I think that she's out of touch, and she did it because she's out of touch, and she didn't come back into touch until she was put on for the title to get the black votes. That's what I'm saying.
Because that's what I'm saying. Your marriage is what you represent. That's what I'm saying. Her white husband shows what she represents. That's my point, that she's out of touch. That's what I'm saying. Like, how can you say you in touch with the black or with any race if that's not what you represent?
Well, I think they got some people up there that's black married to a black and still out of touch. Just like I think that we got some whites out there that's disowned by their family because they in touch like a motherfucker. One of the things that I think is the most prevalent tool in America is using that color to deceive. Because are there a lot of white people that are against black people? Absolutely. I mean, that's America's first original sin. But are there some white people that are allies that'll go down to the count, even to give their life because they don't like the way blacks are treated? Absolutely. And when we talk about trying to move forward as a nation, we got to keep that in mind, because some of the things that have been moving forward have been stifled because there's a line between who should be helping us and who shouldn't. And my whole thing is, it's simple. I don't give a damn what color you are or who you pray to or if you pray at all. Are you on my focus to get better with America, or are you on a different agenda? That's it.
Mark, what
That's
you
me.
going to say, Mark?
No, I'm just listening. I'm just
Oh,
listening.
I thought you were going to say something a while ago and finish saying something. Oh, okay, okay, you good?
So you mentioned something earlier why we'll never go forward, because that's it. What you just said earlier. What you just said, there's a line. Oh, we're not trying to approach it as a Black Wall Street. Now it's a non-color thing. We got to first, get attached with us, who we attached with, because I was watching the Star Wars thing. That's what made me think of this, because he made this mention, like, why back someone who will not go as far for you as you will with them? If there's limitations on how far you will go with me, then hey, I don't need to roll with you. And that's how cognizant and I forget, there's another C word that I am with myself. It's like, I want people around me that's gonna go that far. And I know, hey, I'm not saying it's a color thing, because I feel that's a poor man's disease, but hey, we're talking to our people that actually see and move with color. That's why I'm only, bringing up this racial thing, but the thing is like, you know what? Hey, we want that white daddy. Like I said earlier, we think like, okay, hey, we need this. We will never go as far as we can as a race. And like you said, this America was born on separatism, and racism was instilled in us. So that old granddaddy, yeah, they might be cool with you within your white friends and parent, but they granddaddy, don't bring that goddamn boy around me. Don't bring that wigger around me. I taught a wigger. You know what I'm saying? Totally messed me up. But yeah, that's my point. It's like we won't ever get that far because what's ingrained in it. That got to die off. And what's crazy is how it's gonna die off, because this new generation tearing down statues, and I can't tell the difference if I'm in a white neighborhood and a black neighborhood no more now. You know what I'm saying? At least the statue gave me a heads up, but they're tearing down the wrong history. And they're buying into this TikTok, what happened in the last 5 years. It's crazy. But the point I was just making is that, you know what? If we don't understand, we got to go as a race, because every other race has a cabinet in the White House, but Negroes, but black people. You got the Mexicans, you got the Polynesian people, you got the whites. You don't have none for blacks. There's a reason why. Just like we said earlier, all the presidents, what was on their agenda? To control the blacks. So until we become free and uncontrollable, we still gonna be fumbling the bag.
I got you. Again, I think there's some parts that we intersect on, but I stand firm on this fact of moving forward as a team, because every time we've made a movement forward, it wasn't just us as a black. And it doesn't mean that we forget our blackness. If anything, it's better to educate those non-blacks of who we are. Because just like you said, they got them granddaddies that tell them what they're supposed to think and how they think. What do you think those kids do with their granddaddies when they hang around us and learn what their granddaddy said was not only untrue, but an outright lie? I'll tell you from my experience, they tell granddad to go ahead and die already because their eyes are open. And then they teach the next generation their eyes are open, not just to say that granddaddy was wrong, but to look at black people as humans, not to say, oh, I don't see no color. No, I see this black man, I see this black woman, I see this black child, and they're humans and they deserve the same thing we get. Fuck what granddad was saying. But the only way they get that is if they get to experience us. The only way our story can be told and people know exactly how we are is if we tell it and we show it. That's why it's so important for our directors that we have now that are black, that's putting out black-led movies and stuff. It's not just for black communities. It's for America, because America is still trying to uneducate themselves from this lie that white is right and superior. We can't do it by
Now
just
we
cutting them out.
talking. Now what you say, black. What you say? We got to show them, not prove to them. Tell them no. It's in action because words are meant to be put in action. If we put the right action out, they gonna know that we reading the right words. So that's what I'm saying. It's like, yes, we keep. Yeah, we got, for instance, Fatherhood. Y'all, it was a Kevin Hart movie, Netflix special. Long story short, doing my podcast, I had Lion affiliation, so they sent me the book. So he did a movie on. It was a Netflix special, Fatherhood, and so hold on, but it was about a white. It was white people. It wasn't him. So what I'm saying is that that's how it be. We always they narrative. We always it was this movie. Y'all can see this.
Yeah, I remember. I watched it. Yeah.
Yeah. So the book, this is about white people. This is not about him or it wasn't about the people of color. The book is white.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. Until we stop that. So he made some money, but the book is white. So you know what I'm saying? Like that's just how it is, until we stop
that. Why should we stop that though? That's the part I'm having a disconnect.
Okay, because all right,
Kevin Hart took something that was white and put. Did you watch the movie, or are you just saying that?
No, I read the book. Look, I'm a big proponent for reading. I read the book, and if I was at the studio, I'll bring it up. And I've seen that because I had the DVD. But the thing is that's the difference between a worker bee and an owner. You're saying, oh, it's okay to be owned. Hey, because guess what? Now, if I got the book black, this black, we all, now what the white folks doing? How can they get in? Because the best hunter gets his prey to come to them. Now they're trying to get to us instead of us trying to get to them. That's why. As long as they got their footprint, their thumb or some, we're never gonna get ahead. They always gonna win. So that's why it should be black, because why we look like a fool being a puppet. Like I said, we being a puppet for this white people. That guess what? Only people will ever know is a white narrative because we don't read once what they said in the beginning.
So you're saying that couldn't be a black narrative?
I'm not saying it couldn't. I'm saying it wasn't. And my point of saying that is that what they've been saying. You want to hide something from a Negro, from a black person, put it between the lines of a paper. And that was my point. That is my narrative of showing, hey, how we think we've come forward, but we haven't made any steps at all. We still, we've actually lost because we're the ones that be original. They steal our stories.
Now there's no lie in there. And I think Mark want to say something, but I'm just going to put this out here on my thought before I let Mark speak. Okay. When I look at Kevin Hart doing this, I don't see this as him selling out by telling the white story. What I do see is a black man giving an opportunity to a black young actress, a black team, a black company to make money off this, to make other black movies. I've seen how this can affect the black movie workers in the background because they think it should only be white because white people did it. We got it. I'd say, because I'm in the movie business, we got to get out of that. We got to be able to work the narrative to say that, hey, just like a white person could do it, we could do it too. Now, when it comes to making money, capitalism doesn't have a color. Kevin Hart made a grip off that. That little girl made a grip off of that. The people that work with it made a grip off of that. If a white guy and a white girl would have did that, blacks would have got zero money out of that.
Because why? Because what we said earlier, blacks are the number one consumers of things. And that's what I'm saying. They're steadily using us. That's my point right there. Everything you said, like, that's like, yeah, if they would have had a white people, just like, they would have had, white people, like you said, make that, it would have not had that much success. But they were able to spin it to a black family and boom. Kevin Hart made a little piece of the pie. Netflix made more of the pie. And then the people that own those rights made all of that.
Okay.
Mark, what were you going to say, Mark?
Yes. Well, and Unc just hit on the point I made. Orville, I hear where you're going, but I think what Unc is getting to is equity. And Unc just made the point is, yes, Kevin made some money, but Netflix, the owners, they walked away with the billions. Right. And in the scheme of things, we just had Kevin Hart got a nice little check. I mean, I'm not laughing at $1 million, but in the scheme of things, he got some change, and Netflix and everybody else, and that dynamic needs to change.
That's what you were talking about in the beginning of this thing. How us having a
that I
seat
can
at the
agree with.
table is not suffice anymore. Because why? We're smart enough to play the whole board. I'm not a pawn. I'm not just the knight.
Yeah.
No, I could play the whole board. That's the game I've been saying this entire time. Like, that's it. And that's what we've been talking about. Like, hey, how sitting at the table is just not, because why? We know, like, hey, we know we the number one consumer. You know what I'm saying? We know we running numbers. We know we got the number one realtor in Texas. We know we got all these different people. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey.
And my thing, going back to original point, is as we establish or come up with a new agenda after this election, the temporary thing is deal with this election, whether we voting for Biden or not. Okay. But I hope this prompts us as a community to all of these questions that we're asking. Okay, how are we going to play the game? Are we just going to be satisfied with a seat at the table? Are we playing the game so we can have an ownership stake, become a Netflix in the table? That's whether we on the Democratic side or the Republican side. That's my position. That's my belief.
Because 40 acres in a mule ain't shit anymore. Because they gave us burnt land. Nah, we you know what I'm saying? We know that scheme now.
Okay,
you know what I'm saying? We passed that.
because this whole narrative, presidential politics, has always been choosing the lesser of two evils. I think that dynamic needs to change. We need to be at the table where we actively, to me, when we vote for presidential candidates, here is the plate. You choose from this plate, and this is the size of the portion. This is the size of the salad. This is the size of the vegetable that you're going to get. Is that really a choice? In my opinion, no. That needs to change. No, we are going to play more of an active hand in choosing the candidate, because if we really were power brokers, truth be told, Biden wouldn't have been a choice in the first place. If we were really and I ask y'all, if we were really at the table in a meaningful, substantive way, would Biden or Trump have been a choice? If we were really players in the game.
Man, Mark, you're saying exactly what the conversation started off, and you're right. They wouldn't have been a choice if we were playing. We're gonna leave the movie part alone, because I think, Wizzo, we should come back and talk about this, because I'm a digital cinematographer, and there's a lot of stuff. I'm gonna take it back to the 70s on. But in this politic thing, you're absolutely right. Unlike the movie thing, we're not getting any kind of money off of this. We're not getting any kind of benefit off of it. It's just, hey, this is your plate, this is your salad. You can either have chicken or beef. And Mark, you couldn't have said it any clearer. We need to come together to make sure the option that we have is ours, and have them come to us. Now, I'm joking with this background, like I said, and dressing up, but I'm dead serious. If a team came to me and said, look, we are making a bid as third party for 2028, and we need somebody that's old school, from the 70s, retired Army guy that will speak his mind, I'm that guy. And I'm not going to be looking to come in there with an 8-year agenda, because I don't believe in that. I believe I'm supposed to do what I can do in 4 years, and if y'all like it, then we can talk about another 4 years. But everything I'm going to bring to the table is what I'm going to do in those 4 years, because the game has always been played by both sides the same way. We're going to funnel this thing down to two parties. We're going to make an 8-year bid of what we could do. So if we don't do it in 4 years, we can say, hey, I always told you it's 8, so reelect me. And we need somebody that actually comes from the background of middle America, not somebody that's had money or said they weren't as rich as everybody else, but in our book still rich. Come up there. Have somebody that came up there and said, yeah, I was on a welfare. Yeah, I had school lunches. Yeah, I had a fist fight in school. And I'm here to tell you that most people that work hard, all we want is the same benefits that the rich people are getting. And when you talk about welfare, stop saying it like just blacks, or poor whites are getting it. Corporate welfare is a big thing, and they're getting billions, and nobody talks about it, but it's there. Like Unc said, all you gotta do is read between the lines. Look in that book. They print it out every year, but they never show it on social media or news by design because they don't want anybody to read that. They want everybody to be happy with bad or worse. You pick which one you want. So I'm with you, Mark. We need to have a seat at the table, but we have to build it from the ground up.
Thank you.
When you, and I wasn't expecting this to come up, I have it in my notes, but I probably couldn't fucking find it. But when you talked about welfare, you know, and I think we talked a little bit about that the last time, and I looked it up and I saved it, but like I said, I can't find it. But I think it actually showed that it was more white people on welfare than it was black people because
Facts.
something that we was talking about. My point is, you know, white people, they own that shit too. It's not just blacks and Hispanics, whatever. And I think Hispanic was shit. I can't remember. I think they may have even been higher than blacks, but I don't know. So, guys,
We don't get welfare, we get food stamps.
yeah, that too.
And they get public assistance. They don't get welfare. We on public assistance. We don't get welfare. That's what they say. But all of it come out the same pot. Y'all got some wick. Everybody got.
All right, hey guys, look, I don't want to keep you guys long, but I want to just try to touch on two more things, and I think this one right here is going to be kind of short for you guys, but I don't know, but we'll top it up for a second. So Trump is throwing around about pardoning all of the January 6th, if not all of them, a great deal of them, the rioters from January 6th. Now we already know, and I don't really have to say it. Had they been black, would have been saying that, you know. But I just want to know what you guys think about him pardoning those guys on January 6th. Some, if not all.
I think the king's always going to look out for his pawns.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just that simple. It has nothing to do with law or respect because let's face it, when he was in there, he could have pardoned some of them then. He didn't give a damn about them.
Was he on the way out when that happened?
And he pardoned some people, but it wasn't his people. Matter of fact, some of them came out to say that the only reason they did that is because their beloved president told them, and he doesn't understand why they didn't get a pardon. Now, the only reason he's going to pardon them when he gets back in there is because he's going to need those pawns for the next bullshit that he does.
Mm-hmm.
He's not doing it because he loves them or respects them. He doesn't give a damn about them. They just don't realize that. But if he can keep them up there to do his dirty work, oh yeah, bring them out so they can go there and do my bidding even worse.
Okay. Mark,
I think by putting that out, he just showing up his support. Oh, okay. I mean, I'm gonna continue to raise hell. I'm gonna make sure I vote because he's gonna pardon, if not me, my best friend who was there. And just to let you know on that pardon thing, okay, when they did that January 6th, by the time because you have to be convicted of something to be pardoned. So by the time they were convicted, he was already out of office. Biden was in. So, and I'm saying that to say that if he'd have still been in, would he have convicted a lot more of them? Possibly. But by the time
or pardoned them?
Yes. Yeah, but by the time they went to trial and everything, Biden was already in office. Mm-hmm. So I don't, I'm just, it may not mean much, but.
So didn't Barack go in and pardon some people, like 100 people?
Yeah, but those people already had convictions, though.
Yeah,
they were convicted of.
Hey, one sin ain't no greater than the other one, huh?
Well, what are we calling it sin? Because one of the people that Barack Obama pardoned was I won't say young lady, we're about the same age, from New Orleans that was convicted on a crime that her boyfriend / husband did, and because she wouldn't snitch on him, they gave her 25, I think it's like
I remember that.
some years. And President Obama pardoned her.
Yeah, you heard about that one, but I know someone who grew up on the street around me who got out on that same pardon, got out, did the same shit that he was doing when he got pardoned and he back in jail. You didn't hear
Mm.
about that one though, huh?
No, I didn't hear about that
Right,
one.
that's how it go, because it's always a narrative. So that's what I'm saying. Right now, we paint a narrative like for these people for January 6th. You don't think they already went through it? Their lives crushed, their families crushed. They had to go through court, the local, state, and city. You don't think they need some reprieve?
Well, I'm
Do
gonna
you
put it
think-
like this, and this is my personal opinion. If you went to the Capitol to stop Agent Orange from being the president again, that was your whole intent, and you even went so far as to go into a government building and take shit on the floor and have your face posted with your Trump rally T-shirt and flag on, your ass should still be in jail.
Intent
Because
is, you know,
if
debatable.
huh?
Intent. You said that they went there with the intentions to do that.
No,
So-
I'm saying the ones that actually did it, not the intent. Because there
Right,
were
that's what I'm
some
saying. So they
that
could've
had
got
the intent to
caught
do
up
it, but
and did it, right? It's just emotions. So
But
they
they
could
did
not went there to do that. They could have just got caught up in what was going on and it happened.
then they take the hit on the chin and come back and don't do it again. Because here's the funny thing, you're talking about difference of opinion. If somebody black would have did that, the whole narrative would have been like, you got caught up in this emotion, but you still got to get punished and we're going to help you, but don't do it again. But when they do it, somehow it's like, well, you know, was it really our intent to do it? Well, some of y'all said, the president said, come up here and do it. The Proud Boys had radios. We're not talking about people that just showed up with flags and stuff. We're talking about people that had access to inside information. They had radios. They was moving as an operative to do this. This is not, again, you said it so clear, and I think this is something that people need to look at. When you talk about January 6th, don't just look at what we saw on the video, what they talked to. Go ahead and read that whole report of what they was actually charged with and what they were conspiring to do before that. Because the Proud Boys, they're still in action. And the Proud Boys had this plan a year ago. You won't see that on social media, and it's not just because I'm a military person, because some of those jokes was in the military too. These are things that you can pull up and find out. So when we talk about it, it wasn't caught up in emotion. It was stuff they was planning, just like they planned to kidnap the Democratic governor in Michigan.
Yeah. Well, let me touch on this one. Unc was talking about. I think I did too. Shit, I forgot. We get to go and I get to lose train of thought. Shit. But we was talking about pardons. Obama pardoned some. Now Obama, I think, and I'm not sure, but I think all the presidents have pardoned someone because I remember. What was it? Kim Kardashian that came up there with Trump and got them pardoned some black lady or something like that.
Trump, yep, he can, yeah.
Yeah, and so I think they all at some point in time, maybe when they, I don't know, come to them. I don't know how it worked, but I think all of them have given out pardons.
They have.
At some point in time.
Mhm.
You know, with him pardoning the January 6 guys, all or some. I mean, that'll be his call as a president. I think he's using that to reach more of his supporters. But like we was talking about a while ago, you know, he hadn't really gained any, but I don't know. So I just want to just touch base that. That's the thing about me, y'all. I get to talking, I lose my fucking point. I had the point with that,
But no, that's good. But that's what I'm saying. Like, how is it that, you know, we think Trump, oh, he did that to get us some supporters, but don't think that Barack did it.
Right.
See what I'm saying? You don't think that Bill Clinton, like all of them did that to do that. But, you know, and that's what I'm saying, how society then makes us think that Trump represents divisiveness, hatred, and all this other stuff. Because if you talk about hip hop, Trump was cool with Nas, all these old school cats from the East Coast. If you was in New York, hip hop, Nas, Jay-Z, Looney, all around the time, Trump was around there because he was running it. So
I wouldn't say he was running it, but
Trump was New York.
Yeah, he's from New York, and New York's going to rally around their own, but he wasn't running it. He was associating with it because it was cool.
It was good. And I sometimes, I hear we saying that Trump's not gaining support. I want to challenge that for a minute, because that's usually based on his level of, according to this poll, his level of support has maintained at 45%. I mean, I'm just throwing out a number.
Okay.
It hadn't really increased. that I believe there's a lot of folks out there that support Trump, but they're not what. But if you put a microphone in their face, they're going to deny it or straight up lie. But when they go to the ballot box, who are they pulling the lever for? Trump. So that's why when we say he hadn't gained support, how do you gauge it?
Because
Well,
strategy. Oh, sorry, finish.
No, I was just gonna say, Mark. It's not just the people that are the zealots for Trump, and like you said, there are some people. If you come up to them, they will tell you that they're not going to vote for Trump, but when they go in there, they're going to vote for Trump. But there are also people, and these are people that I conversate with every day, because my whole thing is, I don't care who you're going to vote for, just vote, you know, and vote your conscience. But let's have a conversation of why. There are people that will tell me they don't agree with a lot of stuff Trump does. They don't agree with some of the agendas that's going for it. But when it comes to Trump versus the Democratic Party, they have a personal belief that Trump would do better than this person. Most times I hear it's because it's going to put more money in their pocket because of business. Others say that, you know, the Democrats has been like trawling black and poor communities for too long. That's why they have a reason. And I'm not saying that because there are some things that Trump did that I thought were okay. Doesn't mean I like the guy, but I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, he's all evil like some of the Democrats want you to believe. My whole thing is off of action and what I've seen from both parties, and I mean this in the best way possible, they ain't worth shit. They do a lot of talking, they do a lot of promising and a whole bunch of pounding on the chest, but when you look at what they're actually doing, and I'm not just saying for community, but for America as a whole, it's pretty much the same status quo. The only thing that changes is the Republicans going to be straight up and tell you, hey, we're all about the corporate empire. We're going to make these cuts because we get money. And the Democrats will say, we're not for it, but when you're not looking or paying attention, we're still doing this corporate welfare thing because we believe in trickle-down economics. But we want y'all to paint a peace sign in the yard and vote for us because we're kind of a gentleman. So when I talk about it, I'm not talking about being one for the other, because even though I see negativity in both parties, I also see some positive gems in both. And that's how they do the magic. My problem is both of them are outdated and they've been playing the game to the point where they're not trying to hide shit anymore. They tell us straight up what we're going to do, and we have a choice. You either vote for what we give you or vote for what we give you. And I think we need to start a mindset to change that after this vote, because it's too late to change it now.
Yeah.
It's just like a train coming downhill. You want to slow it down, but it's already coming downhill. That train's going to do what it do when it gets at the bottom of the hill. What you going to do after the train arrives or crash? That's the thing that I think everybody should be focused on.
Anybody riding else on that? All right then. I'm gonna bring up one more here, and then we're gonna see what we're gonna do about that. Mark, were you saying something?
No. Just listen.
Okay. So I just want to ask this right here about white privilege. And let me tell you where I'm going with that. Unc, I'm glad you asked me. Where was I going with that? I appreciate you asking me that. So Trump's convicted of 34 felonies. Hunter Biden's convicted. I forgot how many felonies he's convicted, which I don't even know why they put him out there anyway, because we didn't really give a shit. I think they was just doing it to get back at Trump, you know, putting it out there. But I don't know. Steve Bannon convicted, allowed to stay free. All three of these guys, and there was more, because you have the ones that didn't.
I think Steve Bannon turned himself in, though.
Well, he had to finally, but when he was finally convicted, though, he was still free. But I guess they gave him so much time, he don't have to serve, but I think, but like 4 months.
Yeah.
So I'm just asking you. I mean, we can always say, so I'm just gonna throw it out there. Had they all been black, would they have been sent to jail right then? I thought, and I just don't know by watching TV, Mark, I think you know a little bit better. If you're convicted of a felony, aren't you locked up right then?
Yeah, okay. In a typical felony, yes, you would be. And then, okay, now you can still apply for a bond to get out if you can afford it. but most brothers in that position, you know, you've been charged and convicted of a crime. You don't have the money to. It's called a post of bond bond type situation, and you'll be out pending your sentencing phase. Yes, those individuals you mentioned, Bannon, Trump, okay, they've got the resources and money, number one, to get out. Number two, to extend, play the legal game to extend out the process, you know, for as long as they can. And that sometimes that could be, you were convicted 2 years ago, and your sentencing thing, because you can get delays and motions, basically work to game the system to extend it out for as long as possible.
Right. What were you gonna say?
Nah, just that, and
Oh,
is it, just what I mentioned earlier, is like racism is in the judicial system, and that's why going back to Kamala, Rice, or what Harris, whatever damn name is, but same with her husband's white. So of course she represents the white side, the side of the scale that can have the resources to do that. You know what I'm saying? Because I interviewed a judge who's from Louisiana, highest circuit. And, she mentioned how COVID exploited, it showed all the resources, how that, the resources was tipped to people, of the have. Because we don't have the internet, we don't have access to get to court. Some of, some of them don't have public transportation to get to court. So do I think they have white privilege? Yes. Do I feel sorry for it? No. I mean, it is what it is. It's just like, if you see a dog, you have a dog, a cat run, the dog gonna chase the cat. We expect that. Now we just got to, expect that and move around. How is it that, once again, you leveraging yourself to whereas you can not have white privilege, but you can have some privilege? Do you have $10,000 where you can get retain a good lawyer, so you won't have to get a public defender? Do I feel sorry for people that's not working, that's trying to slight the system? Because when I was living in Oak Cliff, going to work every day, these people had better cars than me, staying at home in the same apartment I was in at, slumming at the time. But I ain't gonna say something, but still going through a little. But the point I'm saying is they were living better than me staying at home. So do I feel bad when they go to court and they can't afford a lawyer? No. Do I feel slighted that, hey, this white dude's gonna get a lesser crime? Yeah, I'm a little jacked up, but shit, I'm gonna try and see how he getting it too. And can I get in on it? But the thing is just going back around with how my mindset is, you gotta have a buffer, you gotta leverage yourself from society. Whatever happens, you got to be at least have a buffer. You know what I'm saying? Whereas, okay, hey, if you go to jail, can you get a lawyer? Can you bond out? If you can't, stay your ass home.
So don't get caught up in the system to start.
That's the thing right there. Don't get caught up in the system, but the answer for the white privilege is definitely happens because it's the way it's defined to the masses. We talked about Katrina, and I'm pretty sure you've seen this a million times like I have. When they showed a white couple going into a store to get food and Pampers, they were just trying to survive. But when black families was going to same store to get stuff, they were looters. When we talk about homelessness, and this is a big thing for me, they now have it to where it's illegal to be homeless. But I guarantee you, if there's a white couple out there homeless and they say, well, I'm just exploring nature, I'm one with nature, they're not going to get arrested. And does this mean that, hey, black people shouldn't get arrested too? Absolutely. How are you going to arrest somebody for being homeless? We have the resources, and I talked about that a couple of times about the resources, but instead of doing that, they'd rather stack the odds against people in poverty to do this. And unfortunately, no matter how you look at it, white privilege plays a big part in that. The last thing I want to say about white privilege is we're talking about the drug game, the crack cocaine epidemic. What's the epidemic we have right now with drugs?
Fentanyl.
Yeah. Fentanyl. Who uses fentanyl the most?
Poor whites, mostly.
Why is there more? The numbers for crack was higher for incarceration than fentanyl. And it doesn't take a rocket scientist to look at the color of the skin in the neighborhoods of people that was locked up. And I'm not saying that fentanyl people should be allowed to die or go in jail. But what I'm saying is we need to learn from our past. They took that as an opportunity to break up so many families and not get treatment for people that was legitimately ill because of this pandemic. And now they have all kind of stuff to help people. And the only thing that I see is that it was a color line on it.
Mark, you got anything on that before I go around the horn?
White privilege. We see it in what we're talking with the January 6th rioters. That's a perfect example of white privilege there. Those if that had been a group of blacks bum rushing the White House, it'd have been a lot of dead bodies. Okay.
Well, let's stop it right there, Mark. If there was a bunch of black people that met up there, they never would have had an opportunity to bum rush
that is
the
true.
Capitol.
That is true.
Because this has happened before, and they were peaceful. They were just in front, and they shooed them away from there with the quickness, with the artillery.
Mhm.
Again, something that they don't put in the news, but if you read, you'll see that has happened. The only reason they were allowed to do that, in my personal opinion, was because of their privilege.
White privilege, you see it, and we talked about business loans and whatnot. I mean, the white guy, his credit or background, they're going to get the benefit of the doubt to get that loan, whether it's a mortgage or whatever. Whereas you or I, if we don't have that perfect credit, we got one hiccup, application denied. That stuff matters.
It does.
Yes.
Cool.
So it's definitely a real thing.
Cool. That's what's up. Most definitely. And that also shows in the numbers, and I don't have them in front of me, but the highway patrolmen, the cops, they sub to stop a black person more than they will a white person. Especially you take a truck that's lifted up high and you take that Cadillac with them 30 and Vogues on there and let them ride down the same way or whatever, they sub to stop that Cadillac. But that's just my opinion.
Nah, that's true because kids in white neighborhoods their schools meet officer friendly, in rural and culture in urban neighborhoods we meet the sniffing dog. Hey, everyone get out your class so this dog can come sniff you, sniff your bag. So it's semantics. It's just like how I always say racism is bred. It's like everything in the hood happens to you is because of the white man. Like hey, your teacher's black, but you go get to the office, they're white. You know what I'm saying? You get evicted from your house, the people that own it is white. You know what I'm saying? On the flip side, if their bike gets stolen, it's the niggas in your neighborhood. Man, I'm too scared to go. He must cross the, across the street from the neighborhood. No, it ain't no Negro. It's the white dude across the street. But that's just how society is going. So yes, it's white power, and and it's here. And if you got black power, if you got 4 Negroes in the Cutlass, whoop, so we ain't never gonna make it. Look, that's not a black crime. You know what I'm saying? When you hear stuff on TV, like, wait, somebody shot up. Oh, okay, yeah, that's a white person. So we listen. No, we don't do no stuff like that because why we don't.
I think we got to be honest. I just got to put that out there because I grew up in poverty. When somebody stole my bike, it wasn't somebody white; it was somebody black.
He's in the black neighborhood.
Yeah. It wasn't no white that came around to take the bike.
But in the white neighborhood, they would have said it was a black person, knowing a black person was not in their neighborhood.
Now I got you. I thought you said that happened in a black neighborhood. No.
I
Okay,
said
clarifying that.
If you would have got
right.
Your house you was living in was probably owned by a white person. That was purposely done. Just like that officer that patrol was probably a white person. Everything that bad happened to you was by a white person because that's purposely how the system goes. Your teacher is black so they can relate, but you get in trouble, you go to see the assistant principal, the one who suspended, they're probably white. You go to the judge, he's probably giving you this time, probably white. And I feel like that's the sign.
Yeah. All right. Mark, let's go around this horn with some closing comments and let me let you guys get on up out of here.
Oh, okay. Closing comments. Very fruitful production. I hope the biggest takeaway from this election, whether Trump, Biden, I'm more worried about what we do as a community than Biden or Trump, to be honest with you. I hope that this is the starting point of of developing some unity, developing an agenda so we can go forward. That's all I have.
All right, appreciate it. What's up?
I just want, like you say, y'all better be ready. See, I'm a Katrina refugee. I done lived through martial law. Y'all asses go get it. So, hey, if you don't know how to fend for yourself, make things happen, live without the internet, without lights and everything else, hey, better get your life strong, get ready. But this should do with STWF TV, and always an opportunity and great experience with you fellas, but always a great opportunity to be on your show, Wizzo.
Already, all right. Oh, they talk about doing a purge or some shit.
Hey man, listen. You see, like they they got the door where they press it and the thing come down and it says they had that for in Houston for Hurricane Burr. Hey, they getting ready for this purge shit. They got underground tanks. Listen, better be ready.
Already. OB, what you got for us? Close it out.
Hey man, as always, I am so appreciative of you having this podcast and bringing us together, because even though we have different viewpoints and different experience, we actually get to have a conversation with meaning. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Too many times you see, like on the news, they're paid to fight against each other and just stick on points that keep them divisive, instead of saying, okay, I see it this way, but I want to hear your point and let's go from there. We need more of that. And I believe, Wizzo, this is something that we need to go forward for 2028. And I'm not just saying this because I keep joking about running for president in 2028. We as the people of the United States of America really need to have some heart-to-heart conversations without C-SPAN, without Fox, without CNN telling us how we should think. We need to turn that TV off, look at what's going on around, and actually get people together and say, hey, let's go to this town hall. Hey, let's sit around and talk about what's in this article that they're saying that's going to affect us. Because the only way we can change is if we open our eyes to what's actually going on and not keep digesting what they're doing. Because I'm telling you, I watch Fox and I watch CNN and I'm sickened by how much they leave out. Not what they tell us, how much they leave out. And I kind of threw the Congo out there as a little snippet of it. But that and what's going on with Palestine and Israel, if people would actually read and research outside the United States, they would be more than upset where our tax dollars are going. So moving forward, let's keep the conversation going. Wizzo, I think you need more people. Matter of fact, I think you need a TV show so people can come on there and we have a conversation. And I promise I'm not going to get in the fight if you bring me on there, but I'm going to say some things that might hurt some feelings.
That's all right. We'll need you doing no Jerry Springer now. Shit, you know. You know, and the thing about it is, man, you know, first I'm going to say, guys, I really appreciate you guys coming on the show, you know, and sticking to your word, you know, about coming on because, I mean, it was supposed to have been not on this podcast, but a couple of my other ones, and guys, you know, stood me up, didn't say anything, didn't show up and all that shit like that. So I appreciate you guys coming on. And I just try to think of different topics and different things and just something out of the blue, and just bring guys on with different views and different points of view. Like you say, hey, we might not all agree, but you know, I don't want it that way. But one thing I will tell you that, or two maybe, or maybe three, or four, I don't know. But anyway, far as goes with Wizzo talking, I'm gonna get ready to get out of here. Is that I don't care to interview any politicians because I don't want them on here lying. Because I'm not gonna let them pretty much. Or anybody running for office or anything, you know, I don't want to interview that. That's not my goal. I don't care to interview any actors. I don't know any, don't care to interview any. I just want us, you know, I've thrown out people to come on with Trump supporters that I knew was diehard Trump supporters, made a TikTok. Not a single one of them came on or answered that, you know, and it was just for average, everyday questions. But I just want, not to say that y'all are average, some may be above, but
I understand what you're saying.
Politicians, and you're not running for office. Not Harvey will be in 28.
I was just gonna say, am I getting kicked out, man? Because I'm also an actor too, man. I might get kicked off the platform, am I?
Yeah,
man, that's racist as hell. Like, excuse me, I know the Queen of England, and I am kin to. You got me fucked up. Look, way above average, sir.
Hey,
Top
Arvin,
tier, sir.
will you remember us when you go up for the Oscars or your first Grammy? I
Hey,
hope you don't forget.
remember, y'all gonna be a part of it. Here's the thing
Okay.
about me, and I hope we had a conversation again about blacks in movies. The worst thing that ever happened to us is that they took out blaxploitation movies. Even though they wasn't the best movies and stuff, we proved that we can make money in the box office.
Mhm.
And the thing that made money for us is that we hired people like us. That's the only way we can move forward is if we have a team that's going to come like that. And again, hurting people's feelings, the people that gave us the opportunity to do that was the white people that were educated and said, wait a minute, I thought y'all didn't know how to use cameras. I thought y'all didn't know how to do dialogue. So if I put my money in y'all, I can get it back. Okay, I'm gonna ride with you. And I think we need to not just say, hey, we're gonna kumbaya with everybody, but say, hey, look, if you're sincere about what you're saying about helping the black agenda and let alone the American agenda, because we're more American than anybody, that's fact, read in the book. Show it. Don't tell us it. Show us it. Go in there and get those loans. Go in there and allow us to be in those positions. Don't try to be in a position for us because we know how to do all that shit and more. All we need to do is get the platform. Yes, sir.
Only thing that would historically is those with the money, they make the rules. Are they going to give you the loan without telling you how to make the movie, who you can hire, how you tell the story? See,
and here's the ugly story. Here's the ugly truth to that. Big money, absolutely. So you're probably not going to see me on Netflix. This documentary I'm working on, the biggest thing is probably going to be on is PBS because everybody else that has money like that, you're absolutely right. They would tell you, yeah, this is good if you do it like I tell you to do it. Mm-hmm. So with that being said, there's some people out there doing stuff. If anybody's looking at movies, look at the Southern Documentary Fund. And Wizzo, we could talk about this more and have a bigger talk.
Another topic for another day.
Yeah, but bottom line up front, people like me are sitting back and saying, we got our own damn history to tell. And if you're not going to tell it, I got my camera. I'm going to figure out some money behind me. It won't be a big budget, but my story will be told. So more to follow on that. Thanks for the question, sir.
I'm gonna say this. Like one thing I taught in training is like if God put the vision, he gonna provide the funding. So that's what I'm saying. We going at it backwards. Like you said, we looking at the white man. If we got enough of us supporting us, the white man gonna come on our terms. Because if it's proven Birdman with Universal Records and Cash Money Records, they were able to keep all that. Just like what Big Chief was able to keep 100% of his masters. So we need to know how to go in there and control the table. That's what I'm saying. Like, like I had conversations, when people didn't understand my teaching thing. Like, hey, you know what? I've been there so I can teach you how to get there. It's like, okay, hey, we can, we were so being happy to be taught like, hey, you can be this instead of giving the footprint or train on how to become this scientist. You know what I'm saying? If you want to be this scientist, this is what you got to do. These are the work habits you need. This is the stuff you got to do because why? The white folks are groomed for it. Because why? They got the privilege to have the actual test for this, but you put them in under pressure, what they do, they fold. They need us because we're built for that pressure. That's what, to me, that's what the United States of America system shows. Just like in corporate America, I had these Django moments. Boy, how you get here? And I had to tell them, hey, I've graduated, I can articulate well. That's my, can you spell your name? Because why? They know that one, I'm a guy of color. I made it through their system. So, hey, you know what? I can handle the pressure. One thing I know about them, y'all had the answer. So y'all ain't really who this person is. So that's what I'm saying. Just like that's, to me, that's what Biden represents. He really not who that person we think he is, because why? This is the facade they put. Do they have that white privilege? Yes, they were taught about this. And I'm going to close with this. My girl, she used to work years ago at Brinks. Y'all remember Brinks? They had a commercial whereas the white guy started breaking into the houses. That was a commercial because everyone was used to everyone was okay with the commercial where the black guy was breaking into the house. But when they aired the white guy trying to rob the house, So many call Brinks asking to take that crap down because why they did not want white people represented like that. I was taken aback. I have never heard of that. I'm like, that is some stand-up ish. I like it. We would never do that for us. And until we get to that type of understanding, we're always gonna lose. So, and be happy with a small portion of the table.
Mic drop.
Mic drop.
Guys, I appreciate you guys to the fullest. I see we have a couple of viewers watching right now. Some of them will probably watch it again later on or something like that. Guys, appreciate you guys to the fullest. We covered a whole lot. We got off a little bit. We come back on. We made it do what it do. Real good conversation, good topic. OB, I'm gonna get back with you one time so we can talk about that documentary and all that stuff. I've been following you on Facebook and seeing some things that you're doing, and I will be dropping some donation that way too. You know, cause that's one thing some of us don't want to do is drop no money out there.
Yeah, but look, he got a collection plate too. Hey, look, hey.
I gotta
look, when
check
the
out
Lord is
Judges
giving,
next
I
time.
am
Enjoyed
next
it.
in line.
All right, guys, y'all take care. This is your boy Paul Wizzo. Holla at your boy.